Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you, Louise. How are you?
Yeah, good. So we're talking today about pregnancy and also postnatal rehab, getting back to full fitness, but also particularly within your community. So I think generally for me, I'm thinking a lot of the friends and the daughters that I'm seeing, they're really lapping up pregnancy and all the information that's out there. They they're on the Instagrams. They're looking up so much because they are all very fast on their fingers, faster than I am on my fingers. But they are seeing an awful lot. How much will be with regards to their posture and their breath and their pelvic floors? I'm not so sure, but they are a community. They are, and they do talk. How do you find it within your community?
I think there's still work to be done. I wouldn't say it's so openly. Look, the help and guidance is not sought so openly, especially with regards to those topics you just mentioned: posture, breath, anything like that. It is well, actually, I don't even know that it's discussed at all. Really, to be honest, it's just. You sort of get pregnant, carry the baby, not essentially seeing it as a time to maybe care for yourself a bit more. There's a lot of self-care issues just pushed aside. It's seen almost as selfish, maybe, to sort of put yourself number one, really, and you first. I have a lot of those discussions in my community with women, that it's not selfish.
That seems quite opposite with
Yeah,
the lady
actually, yeah,
government.
yeah. I
You're
suppose
like,
now.
I can be selfish. This is the one time I can be. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Now that you've mentioned that, yes, thinking about it, no, not so much really. No, and I always sort of quote that self-care is not selfish, um,
No.
because it can be quite often seen that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say that, my girls, the daughters as well, it's like they feel like this is where they can be. They can give that label selfish, like you said. Wellness is not selfishness at all, because
No.
that's number one priority for every individual, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Rather than always looking after everybody else. You can't look after anybody if you don't look after yourself.
that's
Um,
it. Yeah.
but yeah, so where sort of like I'm hearing like, yes, this is the opportunity for me to just do it as I need to do it, and to gain the help that I need. You guys, you're not really like
No,
noticing.
I think my community could do with a bit of that empowerment amongst the pregnant, postnatal, you know, sort of age of women or group of women who are in that situation. They could do with a bit of that attitude, to be honest.
But you can't reach every single woman, can you?
No, unfortunately, that's the thing. You can't reach everyone. So I think it's trying to sort of help change the dialogue, change the narrative a little bit. That looking after ourselves, looking after our body, mental health as well, emotional health. When you're pregnant and postnatally, you can have so many fluctuations in how you feel. It can really, it can knock your confidence. Your hormones are doing all sorts of strange things. Your body's changing. You can almost feel a loss of identity. That can happen a little bit if you're not aware of it. And if you don't really have that kind of feeling in yourself to seek out a support system or a support network, I think it can become very isolating. Very isolating.
Massively, because you said you can like kind of lose your own identity. That
Mm.
can be when you're lapping up everything around you
Yeah.
to give you information, because it's sort of like, oh, so hold on, I feel like this, my boobs are feeling like that, or look
Yeah.
like that, I've got those stretch marks, or I'm in pain, my pelvis is hurting, or whatever it might be. Suddenly things change on your body without possibly, you know, even from like, you know, an athlete suddenly going, okay, I've got full control usually, but right now I haven't got any control on how I'm participating in my sport, or how my arms are changing, or
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think you know that can be quite huge. I mean, when I had my youngest, so she's 14 now, you know, I wasn't in this field at all, in wellness at all. I did try and look after myself as much as I could, but I had pregnancy depression. I can't remember what it was called. And nobody even really talked about it. It was actually my chiropractor who said to me, she said, "You're in depression right now." She said, "It is a thing." I said, "But you know, I'm pregnant and I haven't had the baby." She said, "No, but you are. You are." She said, I can see from what you're saying to me." And I thought, she actually told me to go and see the homeopath that we both did see. We had a homeopath in common, and I saw the homeopath, and it did help somewhat. But had she not said that, I think I would have just carried on as I was, because that's how I felt. And you know, when you feel so down, you can't really pull yourself out of it. And there was not really that kind of discussion or support. It was just, you're pregnant, you feel rough, and that's it, really.
Yeah.
So,
and although it may be recognized, postnatal depression can come on, exactly the point, you know, depression can happen at any time. And actually many of us wouldn't recognize, when linking that to maybe the pregnancy, or linking the fact that you have got depression during pregnancy, and resources that you can pull upon to help you.
So I think it's about, you know, creating more of a support network, more of a dialogue, that you are in a different stage of life. You're going to be feeling different things mentally, emotionally, physically. Your body is doing different things, and then you become more aware of if something is not quite right, and when you need to seek help. But I think it all stems from just having dialogue and education, and not being too embarrassed to discuss things, not to hide issues.
So within your community, if a lady is pregnant, it's obviously going to be celebrated, but is it like not really talked about throughout the pregnancy much, apart from the practical things?
It is. It's becoming more talked about. There was a tendency to keep it quite secretive, to try and hide the bump as much as possible, which I never could quite understand, and still don't really. But they can become very difficult with a large bump, you know, trying to hide it. Now, not so much. I think the younger generations and social media, they're quite proud with their bumps, and you know, how it looks and that kind of thing. But they're still very selective, I suppose. There's still huge parts of the community that I think would just be a bit more reserved. I mean, and that's fine. I think it's fine if they want to be reserved to some level, but not if it would affect any health issues or any support issues. I don't think it needs to go that far.
Do you find that the women talk to each other about their pregnancies?
Yes, I think they would talk about their pregnancies, but not necessarily about any issues or health issues, or how they're feeling body-wise, or pain, or if something wasn't quite right. I don't know if they would naturally just discuss it with anybody around them, so that it would be a support network, and then that you would know that something's not right and to seek further help. I'm not sure that would necessarily happen. A lot. I think there's still somewhat of a taboo, a quietness around it, so like you said, it's loud and proud in sort of the wider community, in the British community. And I think we need to get there a little bit, essentially more, just for health reasons, really, just for wellness reasons, support reasons, for women to be totally supported in that part of their life.
I love your Instagram because it just covers so much information in women's health, women's wellness.
Yeah.
We've mentioned before, we've done talks with regards to menstruation and also pelvic floors. And here we are talking of pregnancy. And I think it's really worth checking out Sarah's Instagram because then you've got a source of information, and it's exciting stuff. There's happy stuff on there with
Yeah.
with movement and
then the connecting the pelvic floor back, you know, the pelvic floor is, should be addressed from a very young age, I feel, anyway. Teenagers, girls in school, they should be to which, you know, I think there's more of a promotion now through the NICE guidelines to try and kind of get that implemented, and I know it will take time, but especially then going towards pregnancy and the effect pregnancy and birth can have on your pelvic floor, that if there is damage or if there is stress on the pelvic floor, that it doesn't mean that's it, that's lifelong just because you've had a baby. You know, you still seek help and you still find ways to address that and to fix it, because it's probably,
you need help between pregnancies, don't you?
Yes.
Because multiple pregnancies, you know, can have it can affect the pelvic floor.
Yeah.
And so more pregnancies. So you and I have both had a few.
Yeah.
We've had the same pregnancy. So we've both had 4. I had twins on the last one, and
wow.
absolutely, it has an impact on the pelvic floor.
Yeah.
So within communities where, you know, you and I have had, you know, a few children between us, and that's just 2 women. So where there's multiple births, we need that extra care and education goes back to that.
And it's the extra care, it's the education that you need to look after your body, like really, really, you know, looking after the body, the exercise, the breath work we've talked about before, the posture, all really simple things that can just make your body feel so much better, and then essentially you feel so much better.
Yeah, because pregnancy stance can bring on backache. It can change your breathing habits sometimes. And just after you've had the baby doesn't mean it suddenly changes back to how you were previously. We're not talking of body aesthetics, we're talking of body alignments for things, areas such as the back or the pelvis. If there's pelvic girdle pain, if there's the lower back pain, because post-birth, we're still feeding the baby, be it bottle or breastfeeding, those stances don't change. If we're standing up and we're holding the baby, we'll kind of go back into that support mode of leaning back, where then we're putting stresses on the body. So we need those exercises for rehab to then get us fit and strong throughout the whole of the body. And then there's again, scars, you know, so if it's tearing vaginally, or if it's a C-section abdominal birth, how to actually support those scars so that they can again have their length, so that it doesn't compound a problem later on elsewhere in the body.
I think going on from that, I think women really need the encouragement. They need to be encouraged and educated to do all those things, to look after themselves, to exercise, to move, to incorporate breath work, to think about their posture, because I feel there's a little bit of a tendency to think once they're sort of pregnant and had one baby, maybe then had subsequent pregnancies, it's almost like a, oh well, that's me done attitude. I you know, oh, I'm busy with the kids and I'm a mum and I can't look after myself now, and I will approach that somewhere in the future if I do. That is a huge thing for me that I see in our community. The self-care, the health.
If we're running around, we know how much we run around our family. For goodness sake, if we're not well, we can't do that. Or it's very detrimental to us because then we're in more pain, or we're more tired, or
you know, so the looking after the body and the movement, that it needs to, you know, it needs to be daily, weekly, and all sort of caring for others aside, that you can make some time for that. You know, I was chatting to somebody, very young lady actually, and it surprised me because when she mentioned to me about my Instagram, and she said, oh, I've got the kids now, I've got 2, and I'll just wait till they're a bit older, and then I'll start to think about something. So essentially, she was saying to me that she wasn't going to do any exercise or any care of her own body because she was now a mum. And you know, with all the best will in the world, it's not really going to work. You're just going to feel unwell. You're going to get to a point then, I think people, maybe a lot of the older ladies in our community, just give up. Then they just don't ever get there then.
Yeah, it's always tomorrow, or it's relevant anymore. But we are relevant.
Yeah,
we are what's the word? I mean, like the hub of the family.
Yeah, that's it. The heart of the home. Yeah, the heart of the home, and you want to be there and energetic and healthy for as long as possible. And
be happy.
Be happy.
If we're in pain, we're not happy.
No. And you know, if you feel comfortable in your own body and you feel happy in your own body, then you're going to be so much more happier in all other aspects of your life, really. And I don't just mean aesthetically, not by any means. I just mean comfortable, you know, happy, strong. I always used to say this when I first started in this field. I said, I don't want my client, I'm not really all about the lose weight. That's not what I promote on my page. I'm very happy for anybody who wants to lose weight, and I will support any client who comes with me with that goal in mind. But I want to help women, so essentially that when they are in their 60s, 70s, 80s, they can still squat and sit on the toilet, that they are not having issues with that. You know, we squat, we exercise, so we can sit on the toilet and squat and be comfortable in that when we're really, you know, getting into our older years. And we can only achieve that with our knees and all sorts of things, and our hip health, if we look after those parts of our body as we go through each stage.
So it's not just for the right now, it's the investment for the future.
A long-term investment, isn't it, in our bodies? It's an investment. You can't have, you're not going to have a car for 60, 70 years and not service it and not look after it, are you?
No, absolutely. I remember saying this many times, you know, my car gets serviced and MOT'd every year. We need to do the same.
We need to do the same.
We need our own nuts and bolts checked.
Yeah.
With a pelvic floor health physio, if it's going to the GP, if it's seeing a wellness coach, if it's a fitness instructor, PT, who knows their subject, who understands women's bodies and how they work. And there are many resources, you know. Yes, again, we've said social media. Yes, Adore Your Pelvic Floor. Yes, you know, the women's and men's pelvic health physios. Those resources are there, and the NHS on Google, you know, they do have advice. It's sourcing it and finding the right source for you to feel good and for the best optimal level of energy.
Of energy, of feeling, of living life, isn't it? Who wants to just get by? We want to live life. We don't want to just get by every day.
No, absolutely. So within your community, where are your ladies most likely to find resources? Is it through their GP? Is it through social media? Is there other organisations that are going to be really keying in?
I think hugely now social media has a huge impact, because everyone's got a phone, everyone's on social media, on Instagram or Facebook. So it's a way that they can access the information. You know, that's a huge way. Obviously, the health service is under so much pressure now. You know, there's so many issues with the funding, and that can be quite difficult. So I think accessing it in a trustworthy fashion, you know, looking for persons you can trust, or societies you can trust, anything that kind of thing is a good way to access it.
I think also postnatal health check, that's really important.
Yeah.
So there are GPs that are offering a great postnatal health check. I personally feel, I don't know about you, Sarah, but it's nice, if possible, and I know this doesn't always happen, to have a separate check to when the baby has their 8-week check.
Yeah.
But also ask the questions that you need to ask at your postnatal check. If there isn't a postnatal check available, or if you need a pelvic floor health review and a diastasis or abdominal review or scar review, again, the women's health physios are really good.
Yeah.
They range from between 75 to 90-ish for a postnatal check. And if you are looking at having more children, then you want to be in the best position possible for the next pregnancy and the next delivery.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a really good investment to make in yourself after you've had a baby, to have a really good check, see where your pelvic floor is, and then, you know, you don't necessarily need to keep seeing the physio. Then you can approach someone like ourselves, a coach who's had training in being able to help you to restore your pelvic floor, you know, and move forward that way, not just leave the issues to just worsen over time.
And with regards to fitness, finding somebody that is well qualified in women's health or postnatal.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, as brilliant as social media is, everyone thinks they're a master at anything that they want to come on and do, and you can, I see some questionable things on social media with regards to, you know, exercise and moving your body, and just make sure that who you are following and what you are watching is going to be the best thing for your body, really.
Yeah, if it feels good, that's a good indicator, but it's building the strength from the inside out.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
It is literally that. I had a client only the other day, and they're an athlete, and it was like, you know, big moves. I want the big moves. I want to be able to get back. I feel good. And it's like, let's do some testing though first. And the postnatal guidance for going back to running by Absolute Physio, Granier, O'Donnelly, and Tom Goon, they are a great resource. So that's a really good resource to look for. We have that on our website, Adore Pelvic Floor, but you can go to Absolute Physio, you can go to Granier, O'Donnelly, and see where to access it, or Google it, it'll come up.
Yeah.
So we were doing some strength testing, and you know, we didn't go for the load testing, we just began with strength, and it's those little muscles, it's the little muscles that need to awaken and get strong, don't they? So that, again, it's from the inside out, not just pelvic floors, it's everything from just even going for calf raises. How are you? You know, how are you on this side? How balanced are we here? So again, we're kind of getting quite deep here. You know, some people might think, oh goodness me, you're really getting, you know, this isn't for everybody. Well, again, all we're saying is just remember, it's not just the big muscles, it's the little muscles as well.
Yeah,
it's the pelvic floor.
Especially when it comes to the posture side of things, the little muscles, you know, that in Pilates, I always find the funniest thing is when you've got new clients, that the movement seems so small to them, they can't understand how that they can be working, or it's not, you know, or this is not a lot, you know, they're not completely exhausted at that time. And it's because you need, as you said, you need to start from the bottom up, from the inside out, and then, you know, you work it up. It's no point just having strong, exactly, you need the strong foundations. It's just like building a house, you need strong foundations, and then the outer shell can be good. So you just have to, and the last thing I'd probably like to say is that to make sure that you just take your time once you've had a baby, and once you know, we don't, if you are actually looking after yourself and thinking you're going to go into exercise and more, just to take your time, start inside out, bottom up, and let your body recover, recuperate, get stronger. You know, don't try and be doing sort of HIIT sessions when you're 5-6 weeks postnatal, that kind of thing, which I know that can be quite common nowadays.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on that one. Because it can create further problems for future pregnancies.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's very, very and I'm very hot on that myself, like you say, because that we want to be fit for future.
Yeah.
It's not just that moment of a buzz, because that's all it will be if
Yeah.
you're doing that, is that moment of like, I've done it.
Yeah.
That's that moment of a buzz, get strong from inside out, all over for future wellness and happiness, because that's being strong.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah, that's everything.
Oh, that's lovely, darling. Well, I'm looking forward to catching up with you on our next subject. I'm actually looking here. We are going to be talking about perimenopause and menopause.
Oh, wow, the big guns.
They're all big ones, aren't they? These are great subjects. We can talk for hours.
Oh gosh, yes.
Okay, my gorgeous. Well, lots of love, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Darling.